Is it safe? There's something in the forest. I'd better get to that castle over there. See, in Castle Panic, there's a lot of bad guys in the forest, and we've got to drive them back and save ourselves. If we can't keep the castle up, we lose. But if we can drive back all the bad guys, we'll win, and we'll be safe. So we're looking at all of the components for our game, Castle Panic. And the first thing we're going to see is this very colorful, very lovely board. And the board is set up in circles, moving closer and closer to the center. And in the center are our towers. These are our health. If we lose all of these, if all of these fall, we'll lose the game. So we have to be very careful to keep those up. And just outside of those towers are walls that are there to protect us. So we've got our walls and our towers. We also have 4 rings outside of our castle. There's the swordsman ring. This is where our swordsmen can defend us and help to drive back all the nasty baddies, all the bad guys. We have the knight ring, where the knights can go out and help us. We have the archer ring, and the archers can shoot their arrows all the way up to here. And we have the forest, and this is where the bad guys are going to come from. And it's where we're going to set them as they start to come in towards us. So this is the outermost ring, and here are our 3 most common types of bad guys. There's a goblin. He's only got 1 point. He's not very strong. There's an orc who has 2. And there's a troll who has 3 points. And as they come onto the board, we're going to set them with their highest point total pointed towards the castle. And if they're in the archer ring and the archer hits them, that's worth 1 point. So they'll go down to 2. And on the next turn, maybe a knight will hit them. They'll go down to 1. If they hit the wall, that will do a point of damage. So if they only have 1, they'll come off the board, but so will the wall. If they have 2 and they get to the wall, well, then the wall will disappear and they'll only have 1. Same thing for towers. If they can hit the tower and they have 1 point, they'll both come off the board. If the tower is set up and they have 2 or more, they'll just lose 1. And then they'll start to run around the castle doing damage. So we definitely don't want to let them get inside the castle. So we've talked about the basic bad guys, and we've talked about the towers and the walls of our castle. Let's talk a little bit more about the board. The board is set up so that the red area is numbered 1 and 2, the green area is numbered 3 and 4, and the blue area is numbered 5 and 6. So at the end of every turn, 2 bad guys, 2 monsters are going to come out onto the board. And when we choose a new monster, we'll roll the die, and that will tell us where that monster is going to start. Right there. And let's talk about the cards that we'll be using. So, in our game, we're going to have a number of different cards. The brick and mortar cards work together. If you have both of these cards, then you can rebuild 1 wall. If a wall is broken by a monster, you can use your brick and mortar cards to rebuild 1 wall, just like that. This card, the Fortify Wall card, allows you to take this fortification, it's like an extra set of protections, and place it on your wall. So that if a monster comes in, let's pretend that this monster came in, Boom! He hits that fortification. We lose the fortification, and he loses 1 point and stays in place. So he won't move it forward anymore. So that's what the fortification does. Tar. If I play my tar card, it says place tar token on one monster, and the monster does not move this turn. So if I place the tar on him, when monsters move, he won't move at all. He'll stay put. Give us a chance to come back. Then there are 4 other cards that we need to kind of understand a little bit. Nice Shot will work with the heroes, so I'll show you that one in a minute. Missing is nice. It means that no new monsters are going to come out this turn, just for 1 turn. Drive him back allows us to take 1 monster and, what's it say? Move 1 monster back into the forest. So it stays in the same arc. So if this monster is here, just like he was before, and we use drive him back, he gets sent right back to the forest, where he'll have to start coming in all over again. And then scavenge. What's it say? Search the discard pile for 1 card of your choice and add it to your hand. So I can go through all of the cards that we've used, pick 1, and put it back into my hand so I can use it again. Now, I held on to Nice Shot because I have to show you our defenders. These guys over here are really important. Let's take a look at them. The swordsman hit 1 monster in the blue swordsman ring. So, if any monsters get into this blue swordsman area, this swordsman is going to help us by having that monster lose 1 point. Here's a green knight, and he'll do the same thing in the green knight ring, which is right there. And any color archer, so this archer can hit in any of the different colors to help defend us. Our hero can hit one monster in the archer, knight, or swordsman ring of the red arc, because he's a red hero. And here we go. This is the most powerful of our defenders, our barbarian. Slay 1 monster anywhere. So, not do 1 damage, but actually take him off the board. Any monster that we want. We can't do it in the forest, but anywhere else on the board, including inside our castle. And now we can look at this Nice Shot. Play this card with any hit card. That's these cards. These cards are hit cards. Our swordsman, our knight, our archer, and our hero, and the barbarian. And this card says, play this card with any hit card to slay the monster that you hit, to take that monster off the board. So there you go. Those are the cards for the game. We have already met the basic monsters in this game, the goblins, orcs, and trolls. But there are lots of other monsters. In fact, there are 49 monsters in total. And some of them are pretty interesting. Here's a giant boulder. When I roll the die to see where that boulder is going to come from, it's going to come from the 3rd area here. It's going to come through, boom, 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 and it's going to knock out any monsters and also take out the wall or tower, whatever it hits first, before coming off the board. And if the wall and tower are missing, it's just going to go straight through and hit, oh no, the tower behind. So we've got to be really careful with those boulders. That's a plague. Oh, this is a different kind of monster. This is an illness. All of our swordsmen, in this case, are going to get sick, and we're going to have to discard them from our hands. So that's not good. The Goblin King, he brings lots of other bad guys with him when he comes out onto the board. So he's really not somebody we want to deal with. Then there are bad guys like this. The monsters move counterclockwise. Well, clockwise, if you look at a clock, it goes around like that. So counterclockwise is going to go around the other way. This one says draw 4 more monster tokens this turn. So instead of bringing out 2 new monsters, we're going to get a whole bunch of new monsters. And the red monsters move up 1 extra time this turn. That's no good. So those are all different kinds of things that we might see in this game. There are other ones. There's an orc warlord. There's a goblin healer. And all of these different monsters and bad guys are going to affect us in different ways. Those are all of the components for the game, guys. So let's take a look at how to play. All right, guys, here we go. We're set up and ready to play. I've got a 3-player game set up here. I've got my hand in the middle, and I'll be the first player. And then the second player and the third players are here. And for the beginning of the game, you'll notice that there are 3 goblins, 2 orcs, and a troll set up and ready to start. And all the other bad guys are hanging out there waiting to come get us. So at the beginning of my turn, I draw up to 5 cards. Well, I have 5 cards because it's my first turn. So I'm okay, I'm good to go. Then I'm going to discard and draw 1 card if I want to. So I'm going to look to see if there's anything I want to get rid of. But if I wanted to, I could discard a card and draw 1 new one. I have that option. Then I can trade. The number of times you can trade is based on how many players there are. In this game, there are 3 players. That means I can only trade 1 time. So I'm going first. This player is going third. And I think it makes a lot of sense to trade my swordsman to him and get an archer back, because when he goes, that goblin will have moved once, twice, we hope, and then he can use that swordsman. So we're going to make that trade, and I can only trade once. So I'm done with that. Now I can play cards, and I'm going to use my any colored archer, and I can do damage anywhere. I'm not going to touch this goblin. I could do 1 damage to the orc. I could take out one of those goblins or troll, do some damage to the troll over there. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this archer to do 1 point of damage to this troll. So he comes down to a 2. And that's really all I can do. I could fortify, but I'll wait to do that later. That's the end of my turn. So now all of the monsters are going to move closer. They're going to move to the next ring. See, they're getting closer now. Uh-oh. And then I have to draw 2 new monsters. Oh, this is getting scary. All right, well, here's our first new monster. It's a giant boulder. So this gets crazy. So the first thing I have to do, I drew the giant boulder. I'm going to roll my die. I rolled a 5, so the giant boulder is going to come down through here. He's going to come down through here. He's going to kill that troll. The troll comes out of the game. We don't have to worry about him anymore. And it's just going to keep coming down until it hits my wall. And it's going to take my wall out of the game. Uh-oh. It took out the troll that I had already hit 1 time. And it took out my wall. So that's unfortunate. So that's the first monster. And now 1 more bad guy has to come out. Oh, he's the healer. Now we're really lucky. So when the healer comes out onto the board, any other monsters that had taken a hit get 1 hit point back. Now all of the monsters on the board are already healed. So we're pretty lucky. I'll roll the die, and he's going to go into the 1 spot. So he's going to come from the red forest over here. And now it's the second player's turn. The second player has a blue archer. That's not going to help. He's got a swordsman. He's got a hero. That hero is nice. A green hero. And he's got the brick. So he can make 1 trade. Let's see. I've got knights. I've got a blue knight. I've got a green knight. Those are going to be helpful here. What does he want to do? Well, he could also get the barbarian. He could get the mortar for his brick. But I think what he's going to do is he's going to trade me a green swordsman, and he's going to get what is he going to get? He's going to get a green knight. Or no, maybe yeah, let's go with the green knight. So that's the trade he's going to make. And first he could have thrown something out. I think he wants to keep everything we have here. And now it's his turn. So he's going to use his green knight to do a point of damage to this orc. He could have used the nice shot, but he's going to wait. And he's going to use his... Maybe he'll use his green hero to do another point of damage to that same orc. So the orc is done and comes off the board. Well, that's the end of his playing cards. So now all the monsters move forward again. 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. And now we draw 2 new monsters. So he's going to draw a goblin. Let's see where that goblin is going to go. Into the 6th area over there. And the second monster is going to be... Ooh, the green monsters move forward 1. This is terrible for us because that goblin is going to take out the wall. Now, he only had 1 point of health, but he takes out the wall with him when he goes. So he hits the wall, and that does him in, but he also takes out the wall when he does it. So the green monsters moved. That was no good for us, and that's the end of his turn. It's now the 3rd player's turn. And let's see, so he draws up to 5. It's his first turn. He has 5. He can throw away a card and take a new one. Does he want to do that? No, he does not. Does he want to trade something? I tell you what he's going to do. He's going to trade for that nice shot. He's going to take the nice shot from player 2, and he's going to trade his mortar to player 2, so that player 2 later can rebuild one of our walls. And now it's his turn. He's going to use his red swordsman to take 1 shot on this goblin. That'll take the goblin off the board. And then he's got this barbarian here, and I think this is going to be important. He can slay 1 monster anywhere, including the castle ring. Now, it's risky to use him this early, but I think we have to. I think we have to take out that orc. So we're going to take that orc off the board. Even though there were 2 points, he slays, he finishes the monster. So that goes there, that goes into our discard pile. And now, I think that's all we can do at that point. So, unfortunately, we're going to lose another wall. So, he played his cards. The monsters move. This goblin hits this wall. Boom. 1 for 1. 1 wall, 1 point. And then the healer moves up. This goblin moves up. And we draw 2 new monsters. So let's see what's going to happen. Uh-oh. The Orc Warlord. Let's see where he's going to go. Into 1. Oh, that's no good. Because when the Orc Warlord comes into play, everybody in his area moves up 1. So that is not good for us. And it's my turn. I have 4 cards. That means I have to draw 1 more to get back to 5. I got a green archer. That is not helpful. I can throw away a card and take a new one. I'm going to throw away this blue knight. And I'll take a new card. It's a blue. Of course it's a blue knight. I'll trade that knight for this red archer. And we're going to be in trouble here. So, okay, I'm going to play my fortified wall. And that's really helpful because now I've got an extra kind of defensive piece for when that healer hits my wall. And then I'm going to play the red archer, which will take that Orc Warlord down to 2. And that's all I can do. That's the end of my playing. So the monsters move. This monster hits that fortified wall. The fortified wall breaks that, but goes back down to 1. The Orc Warlord moves up. The Goblin moves up. That's all that's on the board right now. And then we'll bring in 2 new monsters. An orc. Where's he going to go? To 4. And another giant boulder. Oh no. To 5. Oh, this is terrible news, guys. This is really bad news. There's no wall there, so it's going to go brrr, bah, and take out that tower. So we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towers left. We only have 5 towers left. It's really early in the game, and we're already starting to lose towers. And that's how we play this game. It's a race. The clock is these monsters. If we can defeat all of these big bad monsters coming out of the forest and still have at least one of our towers up, then we will win. We're going to be working as a team to play this game. All right, guys. See you soon here at Unbelievable.